of what I call a financial pattern interrupter. And here we're talking about the elements of spiritual financial laws that in fact governs your financial freedom. That being said, let's jump in this amazing conversation because each and every one of us are in this journey, a journey in search of financial freedom, where we are looking or we're doing life in such a manner so that we can experience some glue, some element of breakthrough in our lives. Financially is the case. We go to work, we start business. Yes, helping others is the key to each and everything we do in life. But truly, if there wasn't a financial reward in the things that we do, we would not do those things. So, financial freedom or a financial reward that afford us to live life in a manner and fashion that is more comfortable than ever before is the very reason why we do what we do each and every single day. It's not a secret. That's the reason why I do what I do. I love to hear stories of people experiencing breakthrough from the way I teach them. But guess what? That in itself does not hold water. Because, truth be told, there is going to be a need to meet my obligations. So, financial freedom always remains and it kind of is the foundation of why we do what we do. And most of us, we found ourselves in this journey where we are kind of continuously struggling on how to break through financially. And today there's many conversation about what you can do to find that financial freedom. You can start this business, that business you can start. But truth be told again, many people who partake in those programs, less than 2% actually succeed in experiencing that which the program promises. Not because the program is a problem, there is a more sinister issue beneath all of that. And in this series, my goal is to unravel that in a way that each and every one of you can be able to partake in it in order to bring about the breakthrough you need. So every Tuesday, I'm going to show up here, whether there's one person, there's two people, I am going to diligently show up to talk about this financial pattern all the way through the end of the year. Today is Wednesday, but I plan it to be able to show up around this time, 6 p.m. every Tuesday Eastern Time in Central Time. So that being said, I want to ask you a quick question here. What if working more, grinding harder, and serving even more is not the way to financial freedom? And you might say, Alpha, what are you talking about? Because we're told work harder so that you can get what you're looking for. But that's what they're telling us, that working harder is the way to financial freedom. Grinding harder is the way to financial freedom. They're telling us doing more is the way to financial freedom. I'm going to be among the few who will tell you that you have been lied for because you know somebody who's working harder and yet they're not experiencing the financial freedom they need. So what is the rule or what is the key to financial freedom? So today we're going to talk about the real reason, and as I continue to have this conversation, what is the real reason you feel stuck in your financial journey? A journey that you are looking forward to experience the financial fulfillment. This is not about doing a particular business. There's somebody else who knows what business you should do. I am not that guy. There's somebody else have done a business that they will tell you you should subscribe or buy into it. I am not that guy. But we're going to talk about the real reason why we experience this financial freedom. We experience this financial hardship. We find ourselves stuck in a perpetual loop that we can't get ourselves out. And here is the key. This is what I call a story of Egypt, financial Egypt. I have a book out there. It's called The Exodus Within, How to Break Free from Mental Bondage. If you haven't had it, but you can check it on Amazon. And in this book, I am talking about this very simple concept, this concept of bondage. And bondage is simply a process where you find yourself in captivity, which means you are no longer experience life equal to the effort you put forth. So financially, as we talk about this financial journey to financial freedom, when you are doing more and that more you're doing does not afford you the opportunity to experience the way life you would have want to experience life as a result of those efforts, then you are in bondage. A very simple explanation, a very simple clarification of that. Consider a person who says, you know what, I'm going to take two jobs so I can meet my obligations. By having two jobs, Uncle Sam demands more of you in taxes. And because Uncle Sam demands more of you in taxes, you find out you are still short of meeting those needs. That type of experience is what the scriptures or the stories in the Bible, they call it bondage. And in my book, I call it Egypt. Egypt is a place, according to the story in the book of Exodus, Egypt is a place where people are not experiencing the fullness of that which is promised of them. So today, the world have promised you that if you work harder, you are going to have a better life. If you strive more, if you play harder, if you strive, you push more, you're gonna get more. And most of you can, as I had at some point, you can come and say, I never experienced that. That was not what I experienced. You went and worked more, you got better education, you became a professional, and yet life is not equal to what you expect. That type of experience is what I call the Egypt circumstances, where you are living in a place of bondage, a place where life is limiting you from what you should get. So, in the story of Exodus, something very beautiful we are learning from there. We're told the children of Israel went to Egypt because they wanted survival. Today, you pursue that business, that career, that opportunity, and you went to school and do all those things so that you can have a better survival experience or odds of surviving, because you will be skilled. And as a result of that skill, you will be able to earn more. And as a result of earning more, you can live a better life. Truly, that is a common sense approach. But majority of the people, in fact, statistics are telling us only 8% of the world population experience that promise. The question is, why is that so? It is simply because of this concept I've come to coin it the Egypt concept, where majority find themselves in Egypt. You went, as the children of Israel went to Egypt for survival, in search of a meaningful experience. And so you did the same. You went to one country to find a meaningful experience. You went to a particular state to find a meaningful experience. You went to a particular profession to find a meaningful experience. We've done all these things in order to find a meaningful experience. So our beginning was no different from the children of Israel as it is told in the story of Exodus. But something happened according to the story. Joseph, which is a symbol of imagination, happened. He died. Your inability to keep dreaming, to keep imagining the beautiful possibility that there is in your life, is the reason that have killed that very simple dream. The dream of experience life the fullest way you could have, a dream of having a financial freedom that you need to have. And today, as many have, I have clients who have been asking, so why things are not working for me? Things is not that they're not working. You are stuck in a pattern that is not serving you well. The Egypt pattern, as I call it. It's not because you are not smart enough to make enough money. It's not because you're not qualified enough to make enough money. The world have lied to you. Those are the reason why. Because there's a lot of people who are qualified and they're in positions that any you would have dreamed to be. You would have been happy to be there. But yet they are miserable. They are broken. They are not happy. They are not fulfilled. So it is not the position. It is not the qualification. It is more than that. And I'm just gonna. This is a conversation. I want to keep it brief, so that you can come back and continue. I know you have your time is of great value, so I'm just going to run there through just fast. What really is keeping you in captivity, in unable to grow? It is what I call, again, the Egypt mentality. An Egypt mentality is simple, that you believe certain things. You believe that you have to work hard to make a better living. You believe that you have to have a particular acumen to be able to. We've heard these discussions, IQ. You have to have high IQ to be somebody. But that is not true. If you look at all the successful people, note that all of them have a better IQ. In fact, you might have a better IQ than most of them. So it is not the IQ that gave them the ability to succeed. It is not the connection that they have. Majority of them started with no connection, but they build up there. And I have my own story. I didn't have any connection. When I built my first business from zero, me and my wife, we were broke when we started our first business in the real estate industry. Broke, all of us, no job, nothing. And our bills were piling up. We had no knowledge. We knew nobody in the industry to connect us at the time. We started it with a simple thing, a desire to build a business that is meaningful. And we took step by step, brick by brick, we built that business, which it generated over $1 million in revenue all year after year in a period of less than 3 years. Why? It wasn't because of the connection. It wasn't because we were smarter. It wasn't because we knew more. We had no knowledge of the mortgage industry, no real estate industry before we started that business. It was about when we were starting, that's when I started learning this. I'm like, I gotta learn more. So it's not the things we know that makes a difference, not the education, none of that. When you kind of examining this book that I have, I call The Exodus Within, in the story of Egypt, the children of Israel as told there, I introduce this concept of the mindset. The relationship we have with money makes a difference. If you have a relationship with somebody, let's take an example. I say, John is a bad person. If you go to an event and you meet John, how would you react about that? It is very obvious that you will not be pleasant to John because you think John is a bad person. It's a common sense. So let's turn that around. If you think money is hard to come, and let money is John, who were told that you think that he is a hard person to come, you think when money comes to you, he's going to be much friendlier? Do you think you will have more opportunity that will allow you to make more money? Of course, no. Just like you would have reacted negatively to John, John will react negatively to you when they meet you. And it's true about money. Money is like everything else, it's about relationship. So, the question that I want to leave with you today in this conversation, what type of a relationship you have with money? Don't go out there and trying to change everything else. Don't go there and get a new job. Don't go there. None of those things will give you that freedom. You have to change the relationship you have with money first. Once that relationship is changed, guess what's happened? Automatically, it will change your behavior as it relates to money. Just like if I tell you John is an amazing person, Jane is so warm, so kind, so supportive. If you ever need, go and ask her, she will help you. When you see Jane, what you're going to do? You're going to be warm. When you see John, what you're going to do? You're going to be looking forward for that charm that I described it to you. That is the secret. And that's where you start. As long as your relationship with money is not a friendly relationship, as we're told in the children of Israel, they first enjoy fruitfulness when they enter into Egypt. You enter into that career with eagerness. You enter into that business with excitement. You enter, whatever you enter to start that journey, you enter with a better perspective. But what you did after a period of time, that eagerness, that excitement, that which propelled you there, you eventually lost it. So it is said Joseph died, and Pharaoh came into power, forgot about Joseph. I want to leave you with this note. Egyptians were known for being great in keeping records. An amazing people, actually, record keeping. If it didn't start in Egypt, I don't know where it started. They are known for that. So there is no way on earth that one Pharaoh will not have a record of a previous Pharaoh. So Joseph was always on the record. If anything, that story is teaching us what you're going to learn about how your relationship with money affects your experience each and every single day. I look forward to break it down more next week. And in next week, because this is just an introduction, next week I will open the floor for Q&A. So come again next week. Follow me so that you can be informed when I go live again every Tuesday about 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will be in here to talk to you because I want to give it to you tools and resources that will afford you the opportunity to break free from this financial bondage that you are experiencing. And sometimes maybe it's not about the financial bondage, it's about the freedom you want in the midst of the financial success you have. Because at some point in my life, when at the peak of my business, even though the business was churning so much money, I was living the life I could afford the things that mattered to my life and my kids. But guess what? I didn't have the peace of mind. I was constantly on worrying whether I'm going to be able to make more to meet my demands next week, next month, next year. And I was always chasing after, despite at the moment more was coming in. I was restless in the midst of success. So you might be one of those people who you are at your peak of success, but yet you don't find the peace you need. This is your place. And that being said, I look forward to have more conversation with you about this journey I call the Exodus Within, the pattern interrupter of a financial freedom. Until then, I'll be back. But remember, financial freedom is not a journey that you should take alone. Let's walk together as I share with you the tips and tools that you need along this journey so you can experience the freedom you seek to have.